Color models. Hello friends, in the previous lessons we got acquainted with the pixels and learned that each pixel has its own color, and today we'll talk about color in the Photoshop software in more detail. And today's lesson will be devoted to RGB and SMIC color models, each of which has its own characteristics and its own purpose. And we'll start with RGB color model. This color model uses three colors: red, green and blue. And it is by the first letters in the name of these colors in English that the color model was made. But why these particular colors? Let's take a closer look at the screen of our monitor to better understand this. This is what it looks like. If you look at it at high zooming in, you see a large number of red, blue and green light bulbs. It is thanks to the color of these light bulbs that we will get our richness of colors that were used to seeing from the screens of our monitors, televisions, mobile phones and other electronic devices, because they all display color according to the same principle. So, how does this happen? Light from bulbs of different colors mixes in the perception of our eyes, creating a variety of shades. More than 60 million colors can be created using the RGB spectrum. If one of the bulbs is turned on more intensely, then it is the shade of this color that prevails in our perception. If all the light bulbs are turned on to the maximum, exactly to the maximum, then we see a pure white color. But if they are turned off, then we get the well-known black color or the turned off monitor. If all three light bulbs are turned on with the same intensity, then we get different shades of gray. If they are turned on with the highest degree of intensity, then this gray color will be lighter, and if with a low one, then the gray color will tend to black. If we go back to our shim, we can understand that turning on the red and blue light bulbs at the same time gives a purple color. Turning on red and green, yellow, green and blue, blue. Of course, the bulbs can be turned on one at a time. Then we'll get red, blue and green colors of varying degrees of intensity depending on the brightness of this bulb. As you probably already guessed, the RGB color model is designed to create those images that will be viewed from the screens of electronic devices, monitors, televisions, tablets, mobile phones, and possibly some other that will only appear. Well, in those cases, when we need to print an image, a different color model is used. It's called SMIC. Its name is formed in the same way as in the previous model, with the help of letters from the names of the colors that form it. The first three letters are cyan, yellow and magenta, and the last letter is black, since black is added in this color model additionally. Although it would seem that mixing these three colors, blue, yellow and purple, gives black color, but in real life mixing colors give a dirty brown color, which is still not black. Therefore, black color is added additionally. Well, as you have already understood, mixing colors in Photoshop is the same as mixing colors on real paper. Perhaps you have already noticed the printers have just 4 containers with these colors. But back to our shim. As you have already noticed, when mixing colors, other shades are also obtained. If in the RGB model, in order to get the brightest possible color, the most white, the most light, there must be the maximum brightness of each of the primary colors. Then, in the SMIC model, everything is exactly the opposite. Remember, if we paint on the paper and we apply a thin layer, then the colors look lighter and unbright enough. And in order to get an intense color, the color should be put in a thick good layer, that is, with maximum intensity. And if in the RGB model the maximum intensity of all colors gives white, then here the maximum intensity of all colors give the darkest possible color. Another difference between these two systems that the RGB color model has a larger color coverage. Therefore, sometimes images that look bright and juicy on the screen lose all their brightness when printed. If you plan to print your image, then in this case create it immediately in the SMIC color model, because in this case you will get a correct display of all colors, close to the one that will be printed. But you should notice one thing here. If you view images created in SMIC in Photoshop or other special software and on ordinary Windows file viewing software, then you may display some terrible poisonous colors, and it may seem to you that the work is hopelessly spoiled. In fact, this is certainly not the case. It's just that files created in the SMIC color model need to be viewed in special software, for example in the Photoshop software. And now let's see how files are created in the desired color model. To do this, when opening Photoshop, we select the Create button. A special window opens, in which all the necessary parameters are set: width, height, resolution and color mode. And if the width and height depend on important preferences, then as for the resolution and color mode, just the same. It directly depends on wherever your work will be shown on electronic devices or it will be printed. And if it is just being shown on the monitor, then we leave the resolution at 72 pixels per inch and choose RGB for the colors. That's how I have it installed now. If we are going to print the image in the future, then we need to set the resolution to 300 pixels per inch and set the SMIC color model like this. I draw your attention to the fact that in addition to the color models in the window, you can also immediately set the name of your document. Choose the orientation, vertical or horizontal. Choose the color of your background, and after you have set everything you need, you click the Create button. As a result, I have a new document with specified settings. In the Active tab, which is highlighted in white, the color model with which I created it is indicated. That is the SMIC color model. If I suddenly want to change this color model, then I need to go to the Image menu, select the mode. You see, now I have a check mark next to the SMIC color model. If necessary, I can change it to RGB in this way. And now I can work in this document in the RGB color model. Well, actually, that's all I wanted to tell you today about the SMIC and RGB color models. And your homework will be to remember well how they are formed and what they are intended for. Namely, the RGB color model is designed to create images that will be displayed on electronic devices. And usually these images are created with a resolution of 72 pixels per inch. And the SMIC color model is designed to create images that you plan to print in the future. And in this case, their resolution should be 300 pixels per inch. Well, that's all now. AIM School was with you. Goodbye.